Hello and welcome to Play RP. I'm Oliver and I'm joined by Niall and Alex.
Hello.
Hello.
So we've been playing a lot of games here at PTR, and it turns out three of us have semi-recently played Turnip Commits Tax Evasion. So why not do a lovely review of it?
Yeah.
Cracking.
Yeah.
So a little bit about the game first of all. So it was developed by Snoozy Kazoo and published by Graffiti Games. It was released in April 2021 for PC and Nintendo Switch, and then it was released a year later on Xbox One, mobile, PlayStation 4, etc. It is classed as a action adventure game. Let's do some opening statements. Big Nose, hit me with it.
I picked this game because just to shed a little light on what we do as well behind the scenes is we have a little competition where we try and complete as many games as possible in a year. And I was like, I have a couple of hours. I'm going to pick a real short game.
Whoa, stop you there. We can't
Oh.
mention that without mentioning who's won it every single year.
Well, I'll say who didn't lose it last year. that was me.
Well, I mean, some would argue that anything. Some would argue that anything below first is losing.
No.
No, there's no silver medal in this competition.
Well, I didn't get bronze anyway. So someone else did,
Okay.
namely Alex.
Lewis actually lost. Let's be honest.
Well, Lewis doesn't.
That is true.
It doesn't. He's not in the competition. It's
Not really.
No, he's not interested.
But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so I thought, oh, I'll just pick it. I had this game. I bought it in summer Steam sale last year, and I thought this would be a quick game. Or I'll boot up a bit of shovelware. Why not? And it took about like maybe 10-20 minutes for me to realize actually this might be what some people class as an indie gem. And so then I slowed down. I took my time with it, and I really enjoyed it. So I gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. Big L.
So I played this game like 3 years ago. Yeah,
I was going to
it's
keep
been
that
a
bit
while.
quiet, honestly.
Yeah. No, that's why when you was like semi-recently.
Yeah.
I thought it was earlier than that. I completed it on May 21st, 2022.
Damn.
And I don't know why. I must have been really harsh with my ratings back then because I gave it a 6 out of 10. But I remember it being a much better time than that. It was I like pixel art. I like the pixel art games, but yeah, I just remember it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it took me like 2 hours to beat.
Yeah, very short.
Yeah. I like the portal aspect. That was fun.
Yes.
From what I remember. And the JoJo reference. My JoJo heads out there.
Oh, was that JoJo? I just thought it was a weird tomato guy.
Oh, is that the tomato?
No, he's a cherry. He's a cherry.
All right. Okay.
Is that important?
I kept going back to that, thinking there was something to do with him. There wasn't anything.
No, it's just a JoJo reference. It's literally just a JoJo reference. But yeah, six. Honestly, I'd bump up to a 6.5 at least.
6.5, cracking. So I really enjoyed my time with Turnip Commits Tax Evasion. It is only a short game, but it's obviously heavily inspired by the Legend of Zelda to the point where the first weapon you get is in a parody of the Sacred Grove, where you usually get the Master Sword in Zelda games. It's a little shallow, but that's kind of what you expect from a game this short. It can't fit too much in. It looks great, it sounds great, and it is very funny. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Give me an average.
I'll give you an average. I've been doing it on
like 7.25.
7.33 recurring.
Oh, I was close. Close.
Recurring.
Cracker, lucky.
So yeah, I think that when you say it's short, I think that this game, even though it's great, you should probably pick it up if it's like £5 under. Yes. $7, a $7 game, I'd say.
Yeah, unless you paid paid full price for like Thank Goodness You're Here, for example. Really enjoy your time with it for what it was. Then if you thought that was worth full price, pay whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, it's very condensed, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of jokes. There's a lot of, if it's worth it to laugh, you know what I mean. Then
there's a lot of post game content as well.
This is one of the questions I was going to ask you guys. How far did you complete this game?
Oh, was there more than one completion?
So there is the credits that roll when you beat Mayoronian.
Yes.
But so I've started playing spoilers for anyone who's watching, but I've started playing the second game, Turnip Robs a Bank, and it's from the beginning of that game. A lot more happens after the credit roll.
Oh, sugar plums.
The first thing that happens in Turnip Boy Robs a Bank is that Turnip Boy has just defeated a god.
Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
So so things must escalate. I did one thing after the credits in this game. I went because I know there was that tangerine dog in front of the cave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to check that out, and it basically just tells you the quests you haven't started yet. Gives you a hint on where to find them. Like, I think the hint that I got was there's a bell pepper who wants something doing or something like that, so I had to go find a bell pepper. But I think obviously once you, because you get a list of all the missions you in the game essentially. Some of them are question marks until you find them, but I think once you've done all of those, then something obviously escalates. A lot of it has to do with the gangster that is in the pickle jar.
Oh, I remember him.
Yeah, because he is very prominent in the second game.
Interesting. I might have to go and play some more then.
Yeah, exactly. You can't take too long to complete it fully because there's not many missions left.
No. Interesting.
Aye. So the references. So we talked about the JoJo reference. So did anyone pick up on? I don't know how much you guys are on Reddit. But the macaroni.
No.
Yeah. He spouted copy pastas.
Okay.
Which in my head has just made sense because it's a macaroni.
Pasta.
Yeah, it's a copy
Hey.
pasta. Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, one of them was the guerrilla warfare one. Where there's 1 second, let me find it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get any references, but there was one joke which I mentioned in the Discord chat as well, which I actually laughed out loud, which I don't usually laugh at jokes from games, like out loud anyway. Maybe you'll get a nose exhale from me. But the joke where you're talking to a streamer and she won't let you past unless you give her a tier 3 sub. And I was like, how am I supposed to give her a tier 3 sub? I spoke to her again, like trying to sign up for like a monthly subscription. It wouldn't work. And then I went out and there was this like sandwich shop, and then it was like, oh, here's a tier 3 sub, and I thought that was just really funny.
It's a simple joke, but I was looking at that did make me laugh. So the copy pasta I was talking about. So I'm not going to read it all because it's very long. But so the beginning of it is, what the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little shit? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs and I've been involved in numerous secret raids and Al Qaeda. Someone actually. So that was a Reddit post from someone actually saying those things, and it's been repeated. Yeah, and Mac just says I can't remember exactly what he says, but he says a variation on it, and then he comes back later in the game. And he does more copy pastas. I very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had no idea what was going on. I sort of, as he kept on talking, I just started skimming because I'm like, I had no idea what's happening here, so I just skipped past it. I didn't realize it was a reference. Something else which is also funny as well is I just really like ripping stuff up.
Yeah.
Like you get to control the comedic timing of it. Like you just get something that's really, really important, you just rip it. I just thought that was really funny. And you got an achievement for every single one as well, which I also like.
Yeah, no, it does
make you feel good.
Character will give you something that's very important to them. He just rips it up right in front of the face.
Yeah. He just loves ripping documents.
Yeah, well,
it's what got him in trouble in the first place, wasn't it?
Exactly. Committing tax evasion. I think Turnip by himself, in his muteness, is just absolute genius because he's obviously a psychopathic little vegetable. Like, he does not give a fuck at all.
He speaks once, doesn't he? He just tells someone to shut up.
Yeah, so it's the anime cats when they're going like ooh woo and all that kind of shit. But it turns out again, this is. Are you going to play the next game? Anyone?
Are we going to? Did you say?
I do.
No, are you going to? Are anyone going to?
I might do.
Yeah.
I might do.
Because that one time the Turnip Boy speaks comes up again, and it turns out it caused a lot of problems.
Amazing.
Yeah. He does say all he said was stop, and I was thinking the exact same thing when that cat was speaking. It was stop wooing at me.
There's a lot under the hood with this game in terms of the narrative. It feels like and the lore. Like I know at one point like he picked up like an actual turnip, and it was like, why hasn't he got a face on it? So, and like when we're in the bunker, there's like notes. It feels kind of like a Adventure Time sort of style where there was like a big war and then everyone became vegetables And there's like humans as well. I don't really get it. Like, did you play in the game more, or do you play in the second game that shed light on any of it?
So not so far, no. And I think there is a point to that. So the bunker for me, when you see these humans, is the funniest part of the game. Because it all gets very serious for a second. You go down, there's obviously been some kind of nuclear holocaust at some point, and vegetables are now living on the surface. So you go down, you read notes like saying, "Oh no, we're running out of food," all that kind of stuff. You the father at one point came up to the surface and saw all these vegetables talking and never spoke to anyone again. He was that horrified. And then you fight a mutated version of a human at one point, and then you come back up to the surface and never think about it again. Literally never gets mentioned again that there is humans under the surface. Oh, you go back to committing tax evasion. Which I thought that would be the end of the game in the bunker. I thought that was all just a run up to this, and no, it's just never mentioned again. And in the second game, I played a good chunk of it. It is again not talked about again.
Amazing.
So, as soon as I came out of that bunker, I laughed a lot because everything was exactly the same as it was before you went in.
Amazing.
All right. Cracking. So I've pretty much said everything I've got to say about Turnip, I think. I'll hit me with something.
Alex mentioned the teleport mechanic. I thought that was a bit genius, to be honest. Like, it felt like that was one of the things that's a bit disappointing. Is like towards the end, it started getting a bit interesting in how you actually use it, and like you had to set stuff up and make sure your teleporters are in the right place, and you could water stuff through the teleporter, you could push stuff through it. I just thought that was really cool. And then I feel like it ended a bit soon in terms of how much that was explored, but maybe in the post game content it's used more.
Again, I think that there's a lot of missions afterwards where like you say, it could ramp up the difficulty and all that kind of stuff. The portal, it was just like a pot, wasn't it, of portal juice.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons that I marked this game down a point. Because it was a little bit janky in that you had it was very specific on where you put the portal, and if you walk through it one way, you came out the other way, like the exact same direction, which is fine. But if you accidentally place the portal incorrectly and there was no way to kind of get past it without going through it, you've got to wait like a solid 10-15 seconds for the portal.
Yeah, it refreshes every time you go back through it, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Even if you accidentally throw something through it, then it refreshes. You've got to carry on waiting for it to disappear. Which I thought there must have been there's a lot of buttons not used on this controller. Like one of them should have been just to get rid of portals.
Yeah. Another bit of jankiness for me, like when I was fighting, it was one of the bosses which required me to. I think it was it a giant deer that required me to use the teleporter. I realized that it's not super responsive when you're switching between weapons, because I would use a teleporter, then I would switch to the watering can or something like that. Well, I think I would, and I'd start spamming the action button, and I'd just be spamming teleport still. Because the switch didn't trigger. I think it had to wait for like the animation to end, and then it was like an extra second or something like that. So that was a bit frustrating. But it is an indie game, I suppose.
I personally think the weapon should have been assignable to the D-pad. So because you didn't have to cycle. So there's only like 3 or I think maximum of 4 at a time to cycle through.
Yeah, but would have been perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're in the middle of a fight and you want to get your sword out, but you accidentally throw a portal out, that can it could completely throw you off, and then you've got to get back to where you was in terms of weapons and stuff. And by that point, the giant deer who takes up the majority of that screen kind of rocks your shit.
Yeah. Other than that, the only other bit of I think it's part of the inspiration for it, but a bit of friction which I faced was I had to look up a guide once or twice just to know who I was speaking to, who I had to go to. Like one of them was I completely forgot about the carrot who was waving a stool in the forest. So when I got the carrot baby, I went to all the carrots that I remembered existed, and none of them cared about the carrot baby. And I'm like, I have no idea what to do at this point. And like all the clues were there because a carrot mentioned I needed a stool. There was a carrot on a different screen further away that had a stool and could do with a baby that was in a trash can. So it was there. It's just like the player had to remember a lot. So the player had to pay attention as well to what people were saying a lot, which I don't do very well.
I'll admit that one part of the game, so that specific mission where you talking about, then I also forgot where the carrot was. But I feel the world is small enough where you can explore every single screen in 5 minutes. So I just went through every single screen. It was one of the last ones that I could have done. So I did go everywhere else before that, but I did find it. I didn't have to use a guide for this game, I don't believe.
Yeah. I can't remember what the other thing I used the guide for, but it was a similar thing where I just forgot a bit of information and had to find out where to go.
Yeah, exactly. Like the graffiti one as well, with the graffiti can. Like on that screen, there is just the graffiti man. So did you do that one?
I don't even remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. There's a screen where it's just basically there's a truck at one end and the other end of the road is blocked off, and it's just one guy with who wants a graffiti can.
I remember that guy, but I don't remember getting the graffiti can at any point.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but I did pick it at one point. All he does is just say graffiti man was here. That's all it does. You might get a hat for it or something like that, which I think are great rewards, by the way. Like just wee little hats to put on your turnip is great.
Yeah.
What was everyone's favorite hat?
There's another JoJo hat from what I remember. The best girl hat, a Speedwagon's hat from JoJo.
Didn't get that one. No, I think I got a hard hat. I had a crown. I had a bird that could sit on my head at one point. I liked the crown. Crown was good. Crown was missing.
It made you feel powerful.
Yeah, I always like crowns in when you can choose them as a hat in a game. Like in Rocket League, my car always has a crown. Crowns are just great. Crowns are just good things.
Oh, the top hat for me. I was just trying to remember which ones I had, but yeah, the top hat.
Where'd you get the top hat
from? Apparently I got it in the idle icebox. Speaking with Tots after collecting the shovel, we'll start a conversation between Tots and his father. I don't remember that, but I just remember getting the top hat.
So Tots is the spud. And you meet. See that mission annoyed me as well. That's another reason why I've kind of marked it down again slightly. Is because that mission is tedious because you've got to keep going between the two potatoes over and over again. Because it's like, oh, when you've spoken to him, come back and speak to me and tell me you've spoken to him. Why don't you just go fucking speak to him, man? He's your son.
Yeah.
Step up. Yeah. No. Is there anything else at all, guys, chaps?
It's worth playing. It's a good game.
Playing, definitely.
Yeah, it's like what, 2 hours long?
2 hours long. I believe it was free on Epic at one point, so the audience
you might have claimed it.
Yeah, exactly. If not, it will be cheap in the Steam sale, definitely. Without a doubt. Remind me what we gave it.
We gave it a 7.3 recurring.
7.3, that was it.
7.3 recurring, cracking. So like, I don't know. I've already asked the question. Do you think we'll play Rob the Bank? Do you think we'll review it?
Yeah. Can you roll creds on it?
I believe you can roll creds on it. It's a roguelite. So it's you are doing runs over and over again, but you get permanent upgrades. So you're robbing a bank, you get money, you then use that money to buy permanent upgrades to allow you to get further through the bank, and I believe there is a boss at the end. I've had a lot of fun with it so far. It's up there with like it may be the best roguelite I've played in terms of like accessibility and stuff like that.
Better than Hades.
So Hades is Hades a roguelite or is it a roguelike?
I don't know. I rogue didn't like it. I know that.
Yeah, so I think Hades. I can't remember whether there's permanent upgrades or anything like that.
There's permanent upgrades.
There is, yeah.
It is a roguelike.
So it must be less accessible then. That's the way I see it. I'd see the difference between the two. Whereas one is you're not making progress every single run. You might just have to repeat a few times to get something. Whereas this, you can pretty much buy, as long as you don't completely mess up and die, you can get an upgrade every time to get you further through the bank. Yeah.
Right. Sounds good.
Stuff. Yeah, we should play it. We should review it. It might be on the channel at some point. But until next time, we shall see you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.